And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for week 2 of Dragon League. Team 9 versus 5th Harmony. Game number 3. Both teams have won the first. Well, sorry, 5th Harmony won the first game. Team 9 won the second game. And now we're here to settle it. I am Huppilicious, and along with myself is the Wumbo. How you doing today, Wumbo?
Doing pretty good. So we will be finishing this one off, going quick through these bands once more. I believe it's a lot of the same bands. They have switched sides now, but last game, for the first 2 games, they were on the same sides. Team 9 definitely banning out that LeBlanc that Zia had such a strong performance on. Zia's had some good performances after her the laning phase, but once it hits in the laning phase, though, multiple deaths to ganks and awareness almost isn't there. 5th Harmony very intelligently banned out that Renekton. I believe it was banned out first 2 games, or the first game.
Yep, and
they're gonna take it off the board.
Yeah, they learned last game why they banned it the first time.
Yeah, it was less so the laning phase, really, as much as it was their response to the pressure wasn't adequate. And I wonder if this is an actual Aatrox pick or a placeholder. I want to see it be an
It's a
actual
placeholder. Aatrox is Zach. We're gonna have to go back to the screen again. I apologize, viewers, but once again we have placeholders. Placeholders are used for if someone picks a champion for somebody else and they don't have that specific champion. This champion is picked in place of that specific champion.
It adds a little bit easier a draft phase, at least for the teams, less so for the viewers. And if Team 9 locks this Zac, that means that it'll also be a placeholder for another champion, considering that 5th Harmony already locked it themselves. Not sure it's going to be an actual Teemo pick. Could also just be a placeholder.
I'm waiting for the message. And there's the message. Teemo is Braum.
Okay, so yeah, Braum Twitch is a fantastic combo. Glad to see them.
Beautiful combo.
And yeah, bring it out.
The fact that Spaciness have literally taken... okay, so in the first match, there was a Twitch and a Caitlyn. Second match, Twitch and a Caitlyn. And the supports were played with a little bit, but now we're going to see a combination of them put together, and hopefully the mixing of those, the Braum support that was actually pretty good last game, and the Twitch that's been pretty solid throughout the last 2 games. We'll see how well they work together.
Ooh, a Katarina. I haven't seen Katarina in a long time.
Ooh, I'm waiting for the message that it's a placeholder.
It better not be. That'd be a dang pick. That'd make you so upset.
They haven't banned... I mean, I'm kind of expecting it, but then again, I want to see it. I want to see a Katarina.
I'll say it'd be another Swajani for... I can't remember if he played it first. Yeah, he did. He played it in the first game.
Yep, Raffle Knife played it. And it looks like we're going to have the same matchup in top lane as we did first game. Poppy versus Sejuani.
I find it really odd that they're actually going to go for that, considering how poorly it went for Raffle Knife in the first game.
The Sejuani did not do well into Poppy, and now he's willingly picking it into the Poppy.
Yeah, going to be a Zyra ban, which is pretty instrumental. They're actually going to ban the whole bot lane that was in game 1 from 5th Harmony. Definitely
a very nasty bot lane. Very effective, especially with it being a Twitch and Morgana.
Yeah, it was in Twitch and Morgana.
Twitch Morgana. Caitlyn and Zyra definitely not letting any pressure up against the bot lane in first game.
Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more aggressive ADCs be picked into something that has such a weak laning phase like the Twitch, so that you can sort of snowball over him and not let him get to that scaling, which is what we've seen in both games. Both ADCs got to that scaling point, and it was very back and forth for both of them, and it's not really what you want. Well, they actually banned out the Swain from Teen Sith. I don't think it was that much of an issue.
I didn't think it was either, but I mean, he played it 2 games in a row, so them knocking him off of it might bring, knock him off of the comfort zone.
I think that'd be I think it's a smart adaptation, especially when a lot of the variance and advantages have been coming from the mid lane, where ganks have been happening, kills have been being traded back and forth, forcing him onto something that is a little bit more difficult for him to play is a good move. And I had aggressive ADCs in mind in Lucian, and I should have said something so I could have had that prediction.
Just getting another message. Garen, is a placeholder. We are going to be seeing a Hecarim this game, coming from So Vicious.
That's gonna be interesting to see. So Aatrox is Zach.
Aatrox is Zach. I guess Teemo is. What did I say that was? Teemo is
I feel
Braum.
like Lissandra. I feel like Lissandra would also be a placeholder, even though Lissandra's support's actually pretty strong.
I do believe that that's going to go to Teen Sith. I believe that is one of the champions that he plays and does it pretty decently.
Yeah, I'm actually a really big fan of Lissandra. She's one of my favorite champions.
And as we get this set back up, we'll be going back into this. The bans will be going a lot faster, as well as the picks. Everybody gets to pick the champion that they originally called for. And we'll get into this as quickly as possible.
Yep, so going to be the same bands.
Yep.
It's going to let this go through real quick.
Are you certain?
I still think it is great that the first two bans are against Zia.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's
Right.
he plays a little bit too far forward, as in he goes for aggressive plays, and it worked out for him because he was in a position where he could be making aggressive plays and have success on them, or have success with them since he was so fed. But he still plays with that same. He plays like he's fed when he's not fed, and it results in him dying a lot of the time.
And we see a problem. We're gonna have to back out of this game. Raffle, not realizing that we were in a pick phase, actually picked one of the champions he was supposed to ban. So we will be backing out of this, going back to the screen, and having to redo this all over again.
It's
Thank
actually
you.
kind of funny.
Thank you.
Being honest.
Thank you, Raffle. It is greatly appreciated. I have nothing better to do tonight. How about you, Wumbo?
Nope. I
All
only
right.
have sleep, and that's inconsequential. So
No,
we can do this all night.
Plenty of sleep when you're dead.
I think he crumbled under the pressure of having to go through a quick landing phase or a quick pick phase.
I mean, if that's all it takes to crush him under pressure, I don't know how he's going to do so well in top lane against Poppy.
I mean, he is the pressurer
He is.
on that Renekton.
He is. But unfortunately, he's not going to have the Renekton this time. All right, we're waiting for the players to get in order. And
All right, here
we
Third
go.
time round.
Third, hopefully the final time.
Weak-willed fools. People fear what they cannot understand. What must be done?
So I think, as a whole, what either team needs can sort of improve on is recognizing enemy team advantages. Seems to be a little difficulty on either side, as getting picked out by Zia in game 1,
Right.
not respecting the damage that Spaciness had on Twitch in game 2, and then fighting in chokes. I think that big Baron fight that ultimately Fifth Harmony won, with Zia having a huge
Zia came out with the
shockwave.
quadra kill, almost picking up
Yeah.
the penta, but Teen Sith having to go to bot lane to stop the onslaught of minions repping up their base.
Yeah, pressure is definitely a big thing. Learning to manage those waves and how to play around pressure, and then learning what to do with the pressure is the next step afterwards. Because we saw Fifth Harmony have both mid lane and bot lane shoved in, when the correct play would have been for them to rush the Baron, as they could have very easily done it and then they could have translated that with them responding to the waves. You know, go to those lanes, and they might not even have had to take those top lane towers to get them down. But yeah, so managing waves, recognizing advantages on the enemy side, and pressure is probably the most difficult thing to learn at this elo
Hmm. But
because it requires a lot of foresight because you have to understand like, oh, when is this gonna push? What can you do when it pushes? What should the team do
how fast are the
when it
minions
pushes?
pushing? What towers are going to stop our waves? There's so
Yeah.
much that goes into it. But I will give it uh, to both teams, actually. I noticed it a good bit. Team 9 stepping up with it. The whole the vision war that was happening throughout the whole game. Um,
Yeah, that's
some
definitely one thing.
some
Yeah, I would agree
contributed a
with
lot
that.
more than others. Yeah. Oh, definitely. There was a lot of wards destroyed and placed last game, to say the least. But
Yeah, for this elo, immaculate vision control. I think even just for any elo, the amount of wards that they had placed down around objectives. You know, sometimes they didn't have the deepest wards or best sense of when they could ward, but they were placing a lot towards the mid game and late game, and it was played around really well.
both
But
teams both teams in each game, uh, doing excellent. The first game, Team 9 still getting a feel for their opponents. Came back in game 2 and was like, "Here we are. This is us. This is the we that you are fighting for the win tonight."
yeah, so how are you feeling about these comps?
I mean, I can see a whole lot of bloodshed and death happening just out of the comps.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same
There's,
thing.
oh man, these fights are going to be either epic or epically one-sided. I don't know. They do have, Zia picked the Katarina. The downside to that, in response to that, Sejuani has the stun. Hecarim has the fear and the displacement. Lissandra can freeze her in place. Braum can knock her around. So Zia's gonna have to be really careful here about who he picks up to go for. I'm glad to see that we have a different ADC this game rather than Caitlyn and Twitch. It's nice to see a little bit of variety. We do see the Braum again, which is a good pick. One to cover Twitch and two to block the Lucian and Morgana poke. I think that top lane is just going to be like first game. Honestly, I think there's going to be a little bit more jungle presence in the top lane. But the Zac, I think this is going to be the game that really relies on, that heavily relies on the junglers. I think, yeah, I would have to say this is all going to come down to junglers.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too, especially when you think about like how these fights are gonna go. You know, you have Poppy in the front line, but Katarina, Lucian all want to dive in there along with Zac and the Poppy. So Zac's gonna find so many creative ways to flank around, jump onto the Twitch, and the rest of Team 9 has to follow. Hecarim's a diver, Sejuani's an engager and a diver, Lissandra's a diver, and that sort of just leaves Twitch hanging out, pretty much left to dry.
Well,
Unless
we literally,
Braum can have something to say about that.
well, this match, we literally have two teams that are dive comps, essentially dive comps. All of them want to go in. Morgana wants to be in there to get the ult off. Lucian doesn't want to be in there as much. Lucian and Twitch both don't want to be in there. Katarina wants to be in there. Zac wants to be in there. Poppy wants to be in there. Sejuani, Hecarim, Lissandra, Braum to get the ult off and then possibly disengage back to Twitch to keep him safe. But all of them are engage. And it's going to come down to whose engage is going to be the most effective for the ADC of that team to burn the enemies down.
Yeah, that's gonna I have a feeling the snowball comp is a good adaptation to get away from the scaling that Fifth Harmony had before. I think it's really great for them to pick that into the Twitch where they have a really strong laning phase. Yeah, if they can't get the poke onto the Twitch, but Braum is a fantastic pick into this, and I'm really surprised that neither team has banned it out just yet, just because it allows those scaling ADCs to have such a good time. I mean, Lulu's also available, but when you have one pick that fully allows a scaling ADC to have that amount of safety is really strong. It's almost as impactful as the ADC itself.
The thing about Lulu is it's if you are going to be more offensive in lane, you are going to go for the poke. You're going to go for that, try to get all that early damage in as soon as possible. And Braum is more of, hey, let's just chill back for a minute. Let's hit 6, and then we're going to do something about this.
Yeah, we're going to be loading in so we can see what keystones each team has opted for. Yeah, I feel like Metro Boomin is actually going to have... He's going to give the runaround on the Vicious in terms of jungle pressure just because of how good Zach is at ganking with all the creative paths that he can do and walking around wards, especially that he's going to be ganking onto Twitch.
Well, as we get into this loading screen, we see the Masters. Really nothing. We do see Thunderlords on Morgana, which, you know, I've seen people take the Thunderlords. I've seen people take Deathfire Touch. Really nothing too out of place here. I would like to note the masteries that are on Team 9. Like, level 7 Hecarim. That guy's played Hecarim before. Going with the Ghost Smite. We got the Lissandra and the Twitch, both at the level 6. And hardly any masteries on the side of Fifth Harmony.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the experience is there, and that's a very real point to bring up, is how comfortable all these people on these champs. I mean, Metro Boomin, I doubt he's had a lot of practice time on this Zach, and you know, it's a possibility that he's picking it because it's open or he's played it before, but regardless, not a lot of time could be invested into him with how much he's been banned.
Actually, on Metro Booming, this season, he has a 67% win rate on Zach. Just doesn't have the masteries. I guess.
How many games has he played on?
I actually forgot to look that up. But I mean, it's 67%, so it has to be more than 5. It's probably somewhere around 7 or 8. So he's dabbled at least. But I'm actually really interested to see if the top lane's going to be any different than what it was in the first game.
Yeah, I think really the only adaptation that needs to be made is if he buys a Bomby Cinder first.
I think that's actually going to make the difference. As we can see, Poppy is starting with the Corrupting Potion, and Sejuani going the path of the Doran Shield. Both of them trying to stay alive in the lane for as long as possible, obviously.
Yeah, so Metro Boomin only has 12 games played on Zach. KDA is 3-3-9, so not too bad, but it's also not too stellar. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's been able to get those through, because Zach is honestly just perma-banned.
Yeah, well, to be fair, when you're in this low of elo, sometimes the really overpowered stuff does not get banned. I would like to point out Katarina did start off with a Dark Seal. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a lot of pressure in the mid lane from jungle, and getting the Katarina fed early. I mean, it might be helpful, but once again, all that CC that can just stop her from doing anything mid to late game, if it's going to be that beneficial to get her that fed if she's just going to be locked up the whole time.
Yeah, Lissandra's a fantastic pick into the Katarina because of how many easy lockdown tools she has. and can very easily poke her in lane when she tries to go CS, being a melee range matchup. Only difficulty is if Teen Sith accidentally shoves up the wave. You can see they're going through the trades. Now Ignite's being burned on both sides as well as flashes. Teen Sith narrowly makes it out alive.
No, this is what I'm talking about. This is where the junglers are probably looking like, oh hey, it's a field day in mid lane.
I'm still really surprised that they haven't picked Warwick. I mean, especially with how low these health bars have been. I mean, think about how easily that lane would have been the gank if you're a Warwick.
Especially at this low level. I mean, with how weak the mid lane is right now. Having a Warwick there, you could go in right now and just demolish either of them.
Yeah, definitely. See, Kennen actually opted for the longsword start. There's an early gank from Vicious. However, clutch Black Shield's able to stop the pony's trample. So really just a waste of time for Vicious, and they get vision on him. Know that he's on bot side.
And also they probably noticed that sweeping plant as well, so they know pretty much exactly where he is at. And unfortunately, that is not going to bode well for him. You know, they know they know he's going to go top side. They know where he's going to be up until about the next gank.
Yeah, Infinite Rampage should expect that next gank. Does have both brushes warded. It's going to take a little bit of a trade.
Mid lane and top lane both just trying to beat each other down. Nothing really coming out of it though.
Yeah, Metro Boom is actually gonna get this gank without very many wards. It doesn't even look like Vicious wants to try to counter gank that. He's on his Raptors. So that's Raffle Knife very, very low. Probably gonna have to burn his TP to get back to lane. Don't believe he has the mana sustain to try to farm under tower. Could potentially get dove here. Look at Infinite Rampage's health bar. I would have liked to see Metro Boom stay there, because that's a pretty easy dive.
If Metro Boom had stayed there, they could have probably easily gotten a first blood, and both of them, being as healthy as they are, could have gotten out with no consequence to them.
Yeah, Spaciness in that bot lane got jumped on. Ate a Dark Binding. It's forced to heal. It's not the biggest bully, considering that Spaciness is having an easy time farming under tower. And Buchanan's keeping him shoved under there. He kind of has to freeze it if he wants to try to exert any sort of lane pressure. Kill pressure definitely there.
Definitely. This is what I was talking about, the junglers being top lane to swing that, because it was pretty even in the first game and there wasn't too much jungle pressure until later. But they're doing it early. Raffle almost completely out of mana, and you know, a third of health left. He's gonna have to back here soon.
Yeah, he wasn't able to back at all. Should have backed a lot sooner and burnt that teleport, but I believe he's going to do that now. Ooh, good binding. Rock and Roll Kid spawning with a shield.
That was a beautiful binding through the minions. Very well placed there.
Yeah, threaded that needle. Zia actually very low on, Teen Sith rather, very low on mana. It looks like Vicious is going to come in there for a gank. Zia does now have level 6. A good Shumpo from him. Dodges out on that devastating charge. But if Teen Sith keeps using his mana like this, he's not going to have enough sustain to fight Zia when he goes in for those all-ins. Because what the story has been so far in this mid lane, even though it's only been 7 minutes, that Zia will go in for a trade, and then Teen Sith will use his W and then Q to lock him down and trade back, but it's not entirely even when Zia can heal it back up and sustain through it. But look, it's so Vicious going so low. Zia with an intelligent invade.
Very good pickup for Zia.
Yeah, Vicious saw it coming. Zia took out a ward on the way there. Did not respect the possibility that Zia was in there.
And this is gonna bode even worse for Team Sith with already being pressured. Now Katarina does have 2 stacks on that Dark Seal. So there's going to be even more pressure in on that.
Yeah, and a full level. Seeing as Zia doesn't have ultimate or ignite, Team Sith going on the aggressive, trying to land on those auto attacks and coupling with that ignite, but Shumpo easily gets her out. And she's playing really far up. All it takes is 1 Q and an auto attack, and she's gonna die.
Yeah, Zia, very aggressive mid laner, and always seems to have a backup plan in case of a gank. Always slithering his way out of those little sticky situations, as we saw with the Shumpo there to dodge the Hecarim engage.
Yep, Team Sith did a good job canceling the back. I mean, neither of these mid laners take teleport, it seems.
No, they want to get the kills, and they want them now.
Ooh, Metro Boomin gets caught in his jungle with Vicious.
Vicious was trying to set up a gank there.
Oh! So unfortunate, not enough damage for him to finish it off, but there goes Metro Boomin onto Team Sith, and he's going to go down. A great run from Dom Doobie to set that one up for his team. Hey, would you look at that? Raffle knife bought Bobby Cinder first.
Hey, learning has occurred. The downside of this, though, Poppy does have the boots on top. Has the boots on the sedge, as well as the corrupting potions.
Yeah, even without the, I mean, it's more of a damage control item than a let's try to win these trades item, because no matter what, Raffle Knife is always going to lose out on these trades. It's kind of the difficulty to playing this lane, which is why I question why he keeps picking it into the Poppy, but if he feels comfortable with it, then more power to him.
I mean, by all means, if he's comfortable on it, unfortunately, with his Renekton being banned, his fallback is definitely Sejuani, but he has been playing a good bit of Nasus, and he could have always had that fallback.
Yeah, this is and you know, talking about adaptations, Dom Doobie, first time he's roamed up towards mid lane, and it turns into a very successful kill onto Team Sith. Another all in from Zia, but he gets caught up with the ulti from Lissandra. Chunks Team Sith very low, and he's gonna heal back up and see if he can attempt that once again, because he doesn't need the ult to kill him.
But here's the thing, though. I want to theorize something with you. We see how low both of them are getting in the mid lane, and both of them are building the Hextech Gunblade. So it's going to be, you know, okay, I burned you down to this much. Who can blast who first?
Oh, Team Sith is going to go. That's almost 100% going to go into a GLP. Or not the GLP, the Protobelt. I'm very positive it's going to go into Protobelt. Yeah, right now Zia actually has Ignite over Team Sith, but progressing a little bit forward. Oop, there's a fight happening bot lane. There goes a teleport from Infinite Rampage. Watching mid lane, didn't catch that one out, but it looks like a 3-for-0 trade. Wow, that is a huge swing. 5 kills for Fifth Harmony.
Now we notice all the kills are divided up very evenly amongst Fifth Harmony here, which is very, you know, everyone getting scaled evenly. A free dragon off of that as well. You know, all around, their whole teamwork right now is spectacular, with the knowledge of where the enemies are going, which way they're going, and what they're going to do. Hecarim actually came down through Fifth Harmony's tri-bush there. Unfortunately, he did land the ult.
Oh. And there's even better vision control coming from Dom Doobie, using that team fight win. They're trying to aggress onto this. End up burning so Vicious's Ghost. Gonna knock out Space, and his Rock and Roll Kid also caught out here. Tries to flash over the wall, so that's 2 summoners burned. I really want to highlight how well Dom Doobie is playing this early game right now.
It's Dom
2-0-2
Doobie.
on him, 80% kill participation.
He's doing a lot better than he was last game. In the post-game chat, he was actually very, very upset about that game specifically.
Put a hold on that thought. Team Sith is going down in a duel by Zia. Just nothing. Just very little damage went on to Zia during that entire exchange.
And the killing blow just happened to be a dagger that she was standing on the ground when she was frozen, and her passive kicked in because she was standing on that dagger, even though she was stunned.
Yep, definitely a close one, but this is going very heavily towards the way of Fifth Harmony. You can see a dive trying to be set up bottom. And Spaciness is keen to it. Seems tries to get back.
It seems like Fifth Harmony has realized, okay, the top lane has picked Sejuani again. We know we can control him, so we're going to focus all of our power on mid and bot. And we're just going to focus on them because we know that the Sedge can't really win against the Poppy, even though that top lane tower might be the first one to go down.
Yeah, I think it will actually, but you know, they're doing a fantastic job of constantly invading and pressuring in the jungle. It's the power of that Zac and Chain CC pick. There's the Death Lotus. There's the damage. Now, the binding trying to go on to Spaciness. Zia could be caught out here as Spaciness blows his ultimate. Now they're trying to get onto him once more. Diving in and out.
The heal going out from the Twitch.
Unfortunately,
sorry,
the first tower actually did fall.
The heal went off on the Twitch barely to save Zia there. I'm sorry, not Twitch, the Lucian saved Zia there, and he doesn't lose any stacks on his Darksteel, and that is also a completed Hextech Gunblade for Katarina, a 4-0 Katarina.
Yeah, this is looking very grim, and while Team 9 did get first tower up that top lane, it's equalized by the amount of kills that Fifth Harmony is able to get, as well as that tower in the trade.
And we're at 14 minutes and 35 seconds right now, and I want to point out there is almost a 5k gold difference in favor of Fifth Harmony already.
Yeah, this is a lot larger than we're used to seeing here. Zia actually did use a Death Lotus, very narrowly cancelled, but it really doesn't mean anything. But Zia's gonna start rolling over people.
Team Sith having to blow his ult so he didn't get offed again by Katarina.
I think it was a little bit, the Ring of Frost, I believe, canceled the Death Lotus. But here goes Zia again on another invade on the Vicious, forced to burn his ultimate to get over the wall.
And that's going to be a mid tower right there. They cannot contest this.
Yeah, this is night and day
Yep,
with Fifth Harmony. The pressure is immense. They can't even farm in their own jungle anymore.
No, there's absolute, absolute stomp fest right now for Fifth Harmony. They're having absolutely no problems with any lane, and I want to reflect on it. I do believe it's because they realize they don't have to pressure top at all. Like despite them losing that tower, they know that the Sedge or the kind of the player behind Sejuani is not going to be that much of a threat, so they haven't been focusing on it at all.
Yeah, I think it would also have to do with the Zac pick, as well as Dom Doobie having a very proactive game, going mid lane. Still has 80% kill participation, going mid lane, landing very crucial bindings that Metro Boomin's able to follow up easily on. There's just so many tools for them to follow up and coordinate with one another.
I definitely agree with that. They definitely have a comp that if they commit to something, it's someone is going down. And honestly, with them being this far ahead, there's no question someone is dying.
Yeah, each person besides Raffle Knife has 2 or 3 deaths if you're Team 9. Dab to be trying once more. It was highlighted in the earlier games. His vision control is very, very good. You can see, while he's on a reset, hasn't been able to place many wards down. Pressure has not been in his favor, but Last game on his Bard, he had really good wards. This game, actually, they have Team 9 is actually the ones with fantastic ward coverage towards their top side. However, it's not very impactful considering Dragon's about to spawn yet another Mountain Drake. It's gonna be even better.
Another mountain in this 3-game series. Who would have thought?
Yeah, this is weird. I'm not sure I've ever seen something like this where it's been every single dragon has been the same element. Oh, there goes Teen Scythe. I didn't even catch that, but on the side, Z was able to delete Spaciness. There goes Yekenen onto Teen Sith. So unfortunate for him. He's getting blasted continually.
It really was, and honestly, it's 12-0, and we're in the mid game. It's 12-0. You know, no, everybody on Fifth Harmony has a kill or kills.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the Zac pick with how much pressure and how easy his ganks are. Really out-pressured Vicious and was unable to match. And there's the Rift Herald, gonna be a mid tower falling, potentially an inhib tower as well. There's gonna be the jump, and they knock the tower out. They don't have that safety anymore. There goes Metro Boomin on the Spaciness. Z is not there yet. Onslaught of Shadows to try to stop that dive from happening. Yekenen backing it up. This is their chance for a re-engage, but they have to know that Z is in their back pocket. Here comes the carry herself.
Here comes the cleanup
She goes
crew.
into rock and roll. We'll have to land a very crucial ultimate. She wants to land some of that. Ooh, the ignite barely doesn't get him.
A lot of
And
ultimates blown on the side of Team 9, just out of pure defense, and very little given up for on the side of Fifth Harmony.
Yeah, but Fifth Harmony hasn't backed yet, while Team 9 has, so they do have a slight back advantage over them, but I don't think it's going to amount to much. Although with all this, I would think that both teams would give lower priority towards the Twitch.
At this point, he is really not a threat. He does not have his first completed item.
Oh my goodness! Look at this, getting caught out.
And
I
that
had no
was
idea that they were standing on a ward.
that
And
was the cockiness there too, because it looked like they were gonna wait for someone to just path up there, and then, you know, burn them down. But unfortunately, you know, they were all right there, and you know, Team 9 is now on the board.
Yep, 2 kills on the 2 most impactful members of Fifth Harmony.
And that I'm sure that shutdown gold, definitely very helpful. Unfortunately, it didn't go on any specific carries. It did go on Lysandra, however.
Yeah, it's
And,
like once they hit that 5-kill point, Zia starts. Once Zia hits 5 kills, that's when he dies, and it's even more impactful than last game because now he has a Dark Seal, so we just lost more stacks.
Yes, he did. He's now down to 6. Which you know, that is at this point, that is something that Team 9 wants. They want that Dark Seal useless, because Zia's just going around and just mutilating people.
Yeah, that's a fantastic word when you consider the nature of her abilities, but personally not a fan of Yekenen's build. That's just a preferential thing. I feel like it doesn't really give you that much damage as opposed to something else. Like Bork in the rapid fire cannon is interesting, but it's definitely working out for him this game. Just a preferential thing.
That's
Not
another turret down.
Oh, Z just burned her Shunko. That's actually very large. He used ate so many turret shots. There's the onslaught of shadows. Oh no, not sure if he's gonna be able to get out. Yep, takes too many turret shots.
But she did pick up 2 kills, and her Dark Seal doesn't lose anything for that death.
Got Raffle Knife gonna eat up a bulk of that culling. Buchanan gonna flash forward. They're gonna take down Spaciness here soon enough. Raffalife has a good response in the counter engage on that ulti. Infinite Rampage might go down here to the auto attack of Spaciness, and he does. So Fifth Harmony really biting off more than they could chew there. And Zia just
It almost feels like they're too overconfident at this point, and it's causing mistakes. Mind you, they did. I believe they went two.
it was
and
2 for 1.
2 for 1.
It looked like, yeah, I think it was 2 for 3 actually,
2 for 3
in favor of Fifth Harmony.
Oh well, you know, no gold. You know, some gold is better than no gold, and unfortunately, they really need to knock the rest of those stacks off of Zia. Fortunately, with her getting the double kill and then dying, she didn't lose
Yeah, that's the
anything
funny
for that.
part.
Yeah,
She stays at the same stacks as she was before.
exactly. And now she has a Rabadons on top of everything else.
Yeah, she's playing extremely sloppily, in my opinion. Just the way she's shun-poed under that tower. She's going for missions now. Should be an easy kill. Burns his ghost once more, I believe, but you can already see the rest of Team 9 trying to collapse on her. And she's going to stay for this. Don't believe she'll be able to pick it up. Does actually. Nice from her, but that was still extremely risky. And Spaciness definitely going to go down here. What a great pickup by Buchanan.
And that's
Team
just
Sight trying to make it. Oh, but there's the engage there. Good heroic charge. Metro even tried to ult, but wasn't able to land it. Now look at Zia being way too deep once more. And I think that was an ult from Metro Boomin.
it was.
uses ult.
Sometimes if you have quick cast enabled, it will instantly pop you back up, and you don't actually get the cast off.
Yeah, so while Zia did really well, she's kind of the detriment of her team right now. Oh, what a good cancel onslaught of shadows onto Buchanan. That's the one that you want to be jumping onto, but Infinite Rampage had a fantastic ulti to peel for his 80 carry. Buchanan's still really low though, still able to get the tower down, but Spaciness is going to start ripping through them. You're going to see him pick up 1, 2 kills it seems, as he goes into his blob form. So Fifth Harmony are getting things here, but it's not without an answer from Team 9.
No,
Able to get the tower, able to get some kills, but very many members went down for it.
Team 9 definitely trying to keep themselves in here. Unfortunately, we don't see much in the way of the gap in gold being closed, but we do see it in kills. The downside is just Team 9 needs to get the pressure off the side lanes. They need to get that pressure pushed back. They need to get that vision out. And the vision thing, I believe, is really huge for them right now. They need it.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Kid has been upping his game. Well, it's a little bit easier to have defensive forwards because you don't have to extend too far, and you're playing around your own pressure, close to your base and close to your team. So it's a little bit easier to get those defensive wards in to potentially find those picks, as like they had to get those first 2 kills on the board.
I wonder if Zia has learned that he's not invincible yet. He's lost, what, 10 stacks off of his Dark Seal now?
Yeah. Definitely go there. Onslaught of Shadows gets blocked out by the Black Shield. Buchanan in, trying to get away from that, but Dom Doobie in pursuit of Spaciness is going to start dealing some damage now. Did hit a 2-item power spike with that Renan and Bork, so another pickup.
And
1 for 0.
And that is another dragon for Fifth Harmony on top of everything else that's going on right now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the next 2 are clouds, or the next Drake is a cloud as well. But look at the defensive vision from Team 9. A lot of control wards in the space where they need them, and that means that Fifth Harmony isn't able to get the vision down for them to be able to grass deeper in there. They need to get the minion waves first and vision second. It seems as they can hardly get the minion waves.
Dom being very careful on how he auto attacks right there.
Yeah, good to get vision control on that at the very least.
Yeah, 'cause
After
now,
a little
now,
bit of a reset.
now Team 9 doesn't have any vision on the Baron whatsoever.
Yeah, they could be doing it for all they know. I mean, the see 2 members mid. They have bot pressure. It's really easy for Fifth Harmony to get pressure, considering that they have 2 of their outers still up.
And definitely, the minions aren't going to push past full health turrets. So they are really just, all Fifth Harmony has to do, push the waves so that they push them until they're, they move in favor of your lane, and then pressure mid. And without an inhib tower, it works perfectly that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure they can win this fight though. Metro Boomin uses the last slingshot to get in there. But they don't have their carry in Zia over there, but it doesn't matter. They're still able to pick up Dom Doobie actually and Metro Boomin go down. And then Zia now joins the fray, but it's too little too late. She's about to go down, but doesn't seem that Sejuani can get the stun. Finally, she goes down. Buchanan's still up though. It's on to Teen Sith and Raffle Knife to get him down. Not gonna connect it though. Very close fight. Definitely uncoordinated with Zia Zia being up top, and Metro Boomin just tries to engage right in their face.
That was a 3 for 3 and an inhib, and quite possibly
Yeah, they're gonna get
another
top tower.
tower.
They're gonna get top tower too. So again, it's their victories, but they don't come without their costs when they really don't need to. And Metro Boomin didn't have to engage on that. In fact, that was probably the worst choice for him to do that, because they can just have the zoning potential from his engage potential, use that as a zoning tool to get them off of that inhibitor, and then get Buchanan in there, try to poke it down.
And now we still see that vision fight for Team 9's jungle.
Yeah, and that beyond everything is a huge loss, since they did die. I mean, they're not forfeiting the wave pressure, but their lack of presence allows Team 9 to get in there and ward, start to clear out some of Fifth Harmonies, and you can already see that they have wards on Baron, which is definitely what you don't want. They forfeit a lot of control dying within that engage. So here they are starting up the Baron. They're able to get the wards down. That ward is actually going to cancel out the other control ward, so looking at both like, oh, but the Poppy ultimate knocks them back. No steal possible.
No steal at all.
And smart plays. Zia's already on that bot tower. She wants to run down though for that. Just go for the tower, please. Thank you. No need to go over there and have unnecessary
Greed can
fights.
carry you so far. We do see that Zia did.
Can they cancel it? Oh, Raffle Knife not able to finish that teleport in time. This could potentially be the game. Another whipped ult by Roger Kid. Oh, she goes in, but she's stunned at the same time and gets another stun. Why would you even go in when there's 3 of your members not even there?
I would like to point out, Zia did sell the Dark Seal.
Yeah. I mean, she's at 5 deaths now. Just really gets way too ahead of herself. And this is a bad position for Team Fifth Harmony right now. The engage potential is immense. You see the land of root. There goes some slows. Metro Boomin getting chunked to about half. Spaciness still on full. Has very little answer, but they get a nice root on him, and he goes down, popped like a cherry. And here comes so vicious to get in there. Dom Doobie tries to land his ult to thin out the herd. Infinite Rampage throws them all around, but Metro Boomin goes back in. Why does these are so curious.
These re-engages, I'm very questioning about. And I mean, we look now. There used to be a 12 kill lead. Now there's only a 9 kill lead, but the gold lead is still pretty massive. And also with having, you know, 2 inhibs down, I'm still on the fence. I think Team 9 just needs to capitalize on one mistake, like Zia and now Metro are apparently doing after their inhibs, after Team 9's inhibs just fun, and they could possibly just run it down and get an inhib themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just like Fifth Harmony is tripping over themselves. They try to go for these engages, but it's like too soon. They don't have enough members behind them. The awareness isn't there to make the engage successful. The idea is in the right spot. It's the execution and timing and coordination that needs a lot of work, and they're leaving a lot to be picked up by Team 9 in the wake of those sloppy and uncoordinated engages. And mispositionings especially. I mean, a lot of these deaths are just Zia being too far forward, eats a good chunk of CC, or lands a good amount of stacks. Like, she'll take an auto attack or a winner's bite or get hit by Raffle Knife
It's
on
that
her
one,
W.
It's the one little CC that just ruins her whole plan, and then she goes back in.
Yeah, and then she goes back in, and like the last fight got stunned up.
We see that Team 9's inhibitors are responding, but there's a lot of pressure top lane.
Yeah, the pressure top lane, that's where they're putting their focus if you are Team 9. Metro Boomin flashes forward with the unstable matter to pick up Raffle Knife, but there goes Spacing is dealing out so much damage.
And that's a
wipe.
4 for 1. Spacing
That's
is
just the power
wanting to
of
get
the
that another
CC.
kill.
Yep, the power of the CC.
Unfortunately,
Take down the inhibitor tower, but it doesn't really mean much without the inhibitor going down.
it doesn't mean much when the whole enemy team is dead and one's at half health. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
like-
it's simply more gold, and we're seeing what Fifth Harmony did with gold, and now we're seeing what they're doing with much less gold.
And we do see, I do want to point out, Zia did go back after selling the Dark Seal and bought Maya's Soul Stealer.
Yeah, that's a poor purchase. That is a very poor purchase. She hasn't picked up a single kill in 3 deaths. Every single time she goes in, she gets CC'd to death.
And we do see Knight's Vow. I think that should have been an item. I believe I'm a support main. I love getting Knight's Vow on my tanky supports because it's just that much more of my ADC is going to live. But
Yeah,
now
it's like
we see that Braum put it on the Twitch now. So I at this point I don't think it's really that necessary, considering it seems like Fifth Harmony is just throwing at this point. Honestly,
Yeah.
even though that the Team 9's base is in shambles, it's almost like they're trying to give Team 9 a fair chance at.
Yep, there goes the bot inhibitor, and that's going to be a lot of the pressure forfeited. And when everything's so equal like this, where you just kind of have to like choose between which inhibitor you want, it's almost as if the inhibitor turrets are back up, and you have to position properly, and be very diligent about how you're going about, getting these inhibitors, which we've seen is not the nature of Fifth Harmony. I mean, they have good vision down in the topside jungle. Baron's up in 110, so if they actually die in this next fight, that'll be a Baron for Team 9. There goes the onslaught of shadows. They are picking disengage. The cannon's going very low, but Zia was able to get off a Death Lotus into their tanks. Didn't really do much. Spacey's still dealing damage everywhere to their backline. Demon going very low. There goes Zia back in, but she has no health. Goes down very easily, and now it's going to be the re-engage from Team 9. The culling gets eaten up by Rock and Roll Kid, but he gets destroyed as Cannon's bouncing in and out of these fights. Goes down himself as Teen Sith is in retreat. It's going to be a third inhibitor, or a second inhibitor falling rather. And I believe, nope, bot lane does not have super minions piling in there yet, but there are super minions in the mid lane. Oh, good heroic charge on a a teen sit, and this could actually
This
be the
is
game.
going to be the end. Heckram and Brown not up for 20 seconds. That is quite possibly more than enough time.
One of the
from the end.
sloppiest games. I didn't think that this is how it was gonna go, but they actually do pull this one out. It seems, unless Vicious can have something to do about it, they're BMing just a little bit. Not finishing this off soon enough, but yeah, this is definitely gonna be the game.
Yep, this is the game.
Wow.
Wow. Just, wow, like, whew.
It was a bumpy road. Definitely a bumpy
That-
road for Fifth Harmony.
Definitely. If they had just been able to hold out for that last team fight, I don't think the Heckram should have went back in for the re-engage, because as soon as he went down, Fifth Harmony just went straight back in and was able to finish it there. If he had gone back after getting that low rather than re-engaging, if he had gone back, came back, he would have been a lot more effective, and I think that would have kept Team 9 in the game that much longer.
I mean, I feel like Team 9, it fell apart during the laning phase when Zia started to get really fed, and then the mid game where she was roaming around getting all those kills. But then towards that late game portion is when they started to see their resurgence and were picking up all those picks, had good good defensive ward control, and were finding the right targets for their CC, making sure they were locking down Zia almost instantly. In fact, Zia took the second most amount of damage on his team, and Poppy took the second least amount of damage. 17,000 damage taken by Poppy, and 29,000 damage taken by Zia. And then 22,000 by Buchanan. So both carries took more damage than the top lane tank. By a pretty wide margin too, 5,000 and 12,000.
Yeah, definitely huge amount. But unfortunately, Team 9, they put up a really good fight when it came to defending the base. Unfortunately, they just couldn't hold out long enough. I got to give them props though on capitalizing on those poor choice re-engages from Zia and Metro there. But like you said, that whole end of the game was just a slop fest, really.
Yeah, and then Fifth Harmony ended up winning out because they had the advantage in the first place. So
Yep.
they were at the liberty of making those sloppy plays like that because they were going to win out in the end just by sheer virtue of their lead.
Yep, that is true. But that concludes this week's Dragon League series.
Yeah, that was extremely interesting. Both teams have things to work on. There's definitely merits to be given to Team 9 for their adaptations. You know, it's not like they went down fighting. Definitely.
Yeah, they didn't just like lay back and take it. No, they didn't. They didn't want to lose this one.
Yeah. So good play all around, but like everything, room for improvement for both squads. Definitely an interesting series to have watched, but that will conclude tonight's Dragon League action. Thank you for tuning in to Ascension eSports, and be sure to check out next week and tomorrow, where we'll be having the Elder League gold to plat.
Gold to plat. Yep.
Elo. Be sure to check that out, and we will catch you guys next time. This has been Wumbo and Huppilicious signing off.